Greetings, everybody. This is Harmony speaking. For a change, I'm actually making a recording thanks to a subscriber of mine by the name of Adam. And also, this diagram you see in front of you, I want to thank my subscriber Robert who sent this to me. It's based on all my physics, and he did a freaking amazing job. So, thank you so much, Robert. If you have a website, send me the link so people can buy your artwork. It's amazing. I want to buy this myself. My son saw it. He does too. But all right, let's go ahead and start with tonight's topic. This video may be edited, so there might be, if you see some little spaces and gaps, it's edited. But anyway, here we go. We're going to be talking about the ego tonight. And I've been asking the question, or people have been asking me the question. There's just been this conversation that has been going around, and the conversation is, how do I ascend? How do I raise my vibrational frequency? And I'm having this kind of a block, and this kind of things happening, and what it seems there's this redundant theme of doubt. It seems like folks have doubt, and that's perfectly normal. So I'm here to tell you that's perfectly normal, and it's understandable to have doubt because you're human. And part of being human, we've talked about the soul, and we've talked about the spirit, and bringing true source God, creator energy, and shining like a pillar of light all over the world, and just spreading that love and that peace everywhere, and opening up that floodgate and let it emanating out below our feet to the earth beneath us. And just feel that peace and that bliss and that sunshine and that waterfall, beautiful energy flowing all through us. And to come into that peaceful state, as Christians say, that quiet place where you be quiet and be one with the Lord, and people meditate, and it's hard sometimes, because we're human and we think, and it's hard sometimes, but let's stop saying it's hard and say, oh, this is the way. This is the way to do it. And the way to clear your mind is to acknowledge that there's also this biological unit known as the flesh. And it helps this biological unit to have a whole food, plant-based diet, distilled water. If you can get H3 water instead of H2O, I mean, that does help. But the thing is, there's also the subconscious mind, and we have the conscious mind, and we have the ego. Yes, the ego. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, specifically the ego. Because the ego kind of feels like when we go upon this spiritual journey and we begin to ascend and raise our vibrational frequency, the ego may, if you think for a moment, might feel a little left out. It's kind of like, hey, what about me? Where's my part in all this? You guys are, kind of look like you're floating off somewhere, and one day this biological unit's gonna die, and what's gonna happen to me? Am I just gonna be buried 6 feet under the ground, full of worms and dying or be cremated? What's gonna happen to me? What's gonna happen to this biological unit? What's gonna happen to this brain, this electrical thing, circuitry we got going on up here? This thing called a consciousness. What happens to this consciousness? What happens to this ego? What's gonna happen to me? Anybody run into that? Yeah, I think you might. So I'm here to acknowledge that part of us. Yes, it's a part of us. We have a soul, we have a higher self, we have a consciousness, we have the subconscious, the conscious, and these are all, and then we have the ego, and these are all intricate parts of us. And we have to acknowledge each and every one of them. along with our energy centers, because this biological unit has a energy field around it known as a chakra, and we have to take care of the energy and the balance flow of energy, and we all have to work together as a unit. Now, I would like to talk about tonight specifically the ego. We are going to address the ego. What is the ego? Do you ever think about it? It's that thing that's there every single moment, it's always present, the ego. And the thing is, the ego, we have to acknowledge it. You know, we have to know and understand and come to the realization and to acknowledge that the ego is right here in the muck. It's in the trenches of life with us, and the egos. It's always been here, and we have to acknowledge and realize the ego protects us. It does. The ego protects us. The ego is actually a necessity in some aspects in this realm, in this dimension, this reality that we presently live in. And because we're always talking about this beautiful place where there's not going to be, we kind of are regrettably kind of saying like the ego can't be there. It's almost like we're dissing the ego. It's like, yeah, come on, ego, we're going to diss you. I'm not saying you do this, but some people may. It could happen, and this is not a. I don't mean to generalize. I'm talking about something rather specific that could possibly, maybe, I don't know. Is it happening in your life? I'm not here to tell you anything. We're simply having a conversation of self-discovery where we simply look in and examine ourselves and look inside and have an introspect. What's that word? Introspective? See, I even have a hard time saying that word. I have this issue as well. I do. I'm human. And I had this paradigm shift today to acknowledge the ego and to realize it protects us and to say, you know what, ego, we do appreciate what you do. We really do. I believe this to be crucial and necessary because the ego is a part of us. And we thank you, ego. We thank you, ego. We thank you, ego. We thank you, ego. And we acknowledge you that you are a beautiful part of us and you are one with us and you are an intricate part of us. And we want you to know, ego, that you do live on with us in the spirit world. When we, as you say, the biologic unit breaks down and dies and goes 6 feet under, you don't die. Ego, we are here to tell you that you do not die at that moment. You actually live on with us because you are a part of us. You have experienced us. And being a part of us and experiencing us, you are one with us. Because you are with us, therefore you live on with us. So you pass on with us to the spirit realm. We do carry you there, and you live on forever. You will always be a part of us. If we vibrate and move to another earth, you will go with us. You are part of us, and you will go with us to the new earth, the fifth dimensional earth, 5D. If you hear this thing of event or anything, the rapture, if you're Christian, yeah, if you're Christian, the rapture is a good description, you know. And know that you will always be with us. And we acknowledge you and thank you for all the things that you've done and you protect us. And we are going to work better with you at this juncture. And we are going to listen to you a little bit more and have some more conversations with you and bring you um, more present and fully with us so that we are all integrated and we all work together. And together as one, we become one unit. And we just have this beautiful bubble of energy that begins to create around us. And then we feel pure source God creator energy coming into this bubble. And we are all just one, filled with light and energy. Any color you like. Do you like white light, golden light, blue, turquoise, rainbow, indigo, pastel, any color you want, colors you can't fathom, brilliant, flowing energy just flowing all over you like a waterfall, sunshine bathing you, whatever imagery works with you. You're simply being bathed, and you feel the floodgates open of a pure source God creator coming in and flooding you all over. And you just have this beautiful glow of energy, this beautiful ball of energy all around you and all around you, expanding out through the top of your head, all over the place. And you take a deep breath in through your nose, and you go, and you slowly exhale out. Just letting go of all that energy, and it just goes away and away and away. And you feel relaxed, so relaxed, nothing but peace and calm, just flowing, pure, true source, God, creator energy, flowing all through you. Just exhale all that energy. Let all that negative energy just spill out and pour out from you, and just let it go. And just relax. And at this time, you will come back to consciousness and begin to open your eyes. And when you look around you, you feel nothing but peace and bliss. And you become aware, and you're looking around you, and you might see flashes of light. And I love when I see white flashes of light and blue, and just a beautiful energy pattern all around you as you look around the room. You're fully awake and conscious and aware. All right. That's good. Adam, do you have any questions? Adam is doing the recording tonight. Adam, you there? That's a good attitude. I like that. It kind of reminds me a different segue. Were you done? Or I was thinking of an old sermon he used to give. Have an attitude of gratitude. Attitude of gratitude. Wake up every day and say, "I'm going to have a zippy doo dah day," and everything's gonna be beautiful and wonderful. Even the thing is, when you stub your toe and you get out of bed and you stub your toe and then you spill something, and it seems like events just start to snowball. And the reason is because our thoughts create reality, and you think you're having a bad day, so the universe hears bad day, bad day. So therefore, you create that reality because you're thinking of it, even though you're not giving permission to the universe to have a bad day. You don't want that to happen, but the reality is that you have to stop for a moment and go, this is what I'm producing, this is what I'm projecting, this is what I'm thinking about, this is what I'm telling the universe to do, and then the universe responds and then creates that event. And this is how we control reality. So you stub your toe out when you get out of bed, you spill something, I don't know, someone cuts you off on the road, immediately stop and snap out of it and go, I'm going to have an attitude of gratitude and think of something to be grateful for. It's so important to have something to be grateful for and think of something to be grateful for. Anyway, go on. Hmm. Yeah, that's a different perspective. Yes. Well, then the ego has to understand that it's not like the paper cup, it's not like the water, it's not like the biological unit, it's not like the brain, it's not like the circuitry. It's actually taken on a consciousness and a life form of itself. The ego is actually a created life form. The interaction between the biological unit, the soul, the higher self, and this brain we have, the interaction of all that energy, and the chakra system creates an energy field, and we're energy, and then it creates a life form called the ego. And then the ego is that's when the ego is created, and when this biological unit is born and this all this energy lines up, and then the ego is created. So the ego gets created when the biological unit is born, and it's alive and it's with us, and it has this fear that's going to die and cease to exist. So it has this real legitimate fear that it's going to die, and that's why people have a fear of dying, because they don't know what's going to happen, blah blah blah. And a lot of it is actually not, it's not the spirit that's having this conversation, it's not the higher self that's having this conversation. It's not even the biological unit having this conversation. It's the ego. It's the ego that has this fear of death. It's the ego that has this fear and that fear. And because of that, the ego gets this bad rap, and it gets this, ooh, the ego does all this bad shit. But when you acknowledge what the ego does and what it's trying to do, it's called self preservation. The ego has a Right, but and it's trying to survive and thinks it's going to die. So we are here today to tell the ego that it's not. Yeah, it's not going to die. We're here to reassure the ego it doesn't die. Even if you want to say this thing's a freaking computer simulation, I'm sorry. Even if we're on a circuit board, we have energy, and our whatever it is they say, our higher self is playing this game. I don't care what you think. Energy is energy. It just doesn't die. I think, therefore I am. Well, it's part of our identity, so that's the thing. It's all of us. It's identity, but go on. Oh yeah, I get you're correct. I wasn't disagreeing. You no, I'm listening. I decided to just check it. I haven't done this yet. He just sent this to me, or I'm just looking at it. So I was like, this thing looks trippy. Sorry, but I'm listening. Yes, that's the whole point. Yeah, I figured you're going there. Third eye. Yeah, pineal gland. Yeah, it's true. Well, wait. Let's talk about the what we've been learning from QHHT sessions from people all over the world, independent reports. Allison Coe, you should listen to her. They talk about the how there's this other new Earth, and that there's the energy is flowing right now and becoming stronger and stronger. And I agree with it. I'm seeing energy all over the place. This place is starting to pump up with energy. Yeah, so the energy is really peaking out right now, and it's congruent with all the reports we're getting from people's sessions. And apparently, eventually, a whole bunch of folks are just going to kind of vanish, as the Bible calls it the rapture, but it's really not. So, and then there's going to be the first wave that goes, and then there's going to be the folks that are left behind, and they're going to be like, "What the hell happened?" And then they're going to change their ways, they're going to change their diets, they're going to stop eating animals, because on the new Earth, you don't eat animals. It doesn't happen. So, people are left behind, going like, "Well, let's stop eating animals and change our diets, and maybe we should try this meditation thing. Maybe we should try to meditate, because these people fucking went somewhere. Where the hell they go?" So maybe, people are going to change their ways and start focusing on themselves and stop worrying about going to work, because you just saw, what happens if you woke up one day and saw, a million people gone. I mean, it's kind of hard to, excuse a million people, or what if a billion go? Wake up one day, there's a billion people gone. That's kind of going to be a little bit of an eye opener. So those folks, so people are going to change their ways, and then they're going to move. So there'll be a next wave, and then the next crowd will continue to work because they need a little bit more work, and then they'll go, and there'll be another wave, and there's going to be like 4 or 5 waves of people moving to the new Earth, and then eventually one day, the way they're done, the waves are done, and then the folks that are left here this place is going to be sealed off and quarantined, and there's going to be, as the Bible says, revelation will take place here, and it won't be pretty, and there'll be a lot of pain and suffering, and a lot of people are going to die, and it's going to be turmoil and hell, and it's going to be horrific. But some people, according to their karma and blah blah blah, that's what they want, and that's where they're going to go. So at the end of the day, you have no fear. There's nothing to worry about. You will go where you want to go, because think of this like a magnet. a magnet attracts like kind or whatever. So you don't have to worry about anything. You've already you every moment you choose where you want to go. If you want to go, then you'll you'll go. No one's gonna make you stay here. Everyone's welcome to go as long as you are, vibrating at that. If you vibrate that frequency, I mean, if you're willing to, there's no government there. There's no government. There's no government. Yeah, I mean, you have to give up anger and hate and wanting to have a government people roll over you and eating animals and all that crap. And so yeah, because in the new Earth, there's no crime, there's no government, there's no police. You don't have to go to work. There's plenty of food. Everybody's a vegetarian. You just go outside and pick fruit off the fucking tree. Excuse my language. Kumbaya. You can make a fire and have some potatoes and vegetables. There's plenty of root vegetables, and you don't need meat. There'll be no crime. Did I say that three times already? Yeah, no crime. That's a big one for me. Ugh. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. As I say, paradise. Oh, by the way, the new Earth is in the fifth dimension, so we'll be at the fifth dimension too, and that's going to happen apparently from all these reports, and that's what I've been talking about in my YouTube videos. I talk about a lot of people. Actually, I found this out. They agreed with my earlier video where I said that the timelines are collapsing, and we are moving all the different realities into this reality because everything branched out and it's split all over the damn place. It's a mess. So we're here to clean up, and we're pulling all the timelines in, and we're merging them all together. Hello, Mandela effect. So we're merging all the timelines together, and we're trying to get everything under control. And then now that everybody's here, I think everybody's might have. Seems like everybody's pretty much here. Anyway, but anyway, then we're gonna raise vibrational frequency in the place, and people can, will be able to vibrate out of here if they want. Lack of better words, I hate the English language. It's so horrible. It's kind of like I can say a lot faster that way. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's all one. We're all one. There's no such thing as space and time. It's rather complicated to humans, so that's why we explain it as a phase shift. And I said in my earlier video, Harmony Part 2 tells the story. I talked about how I phase shifted out of here, and I described what it's like. And this biological unit can phase shift out of here, and it can go into another dimension. This body is perfectly capable of doing that as long as it's at the right frequency. In other words, if the body is tuned into AM and that's all it knows, and if going to FM would destroy the body, it can't do that. So the AM body has to be adjusted to the FM body. And you can do that if you've ever listened. If youngsters don't know this, back in the day we had a dial, and you dial the radio station, and you can bleed radio stations. It's called a bleed when you that static in between, and you can actually play two radio stations at once. It's a stupid thing we used to do as kids. I'm sorry, I'm 50 years old, but you get the idea. You can listen into two realities at one time. You humans have done this with the FM radio bleeding between stations. And how about CB radio? You get two different radio stations bleeding. All right, well, thank you everybody. Appreciate you listening in, and as I always say, as the sun sets and sun rises, as many times as you can, bring in that pure source God creator energy. Shine like a pillar of light all over the place. Emanate that pure source God creator love energy. Nothing but love and peace all over the place. And good night.